somebody's sexual orientation is an integral aspect of that person. And it should never lead to any kind of judgment, discrimination, or abuse anywhere. It's kind of natural part of who we are. Why?
See, BITS has always been proactive in taking affirmative actions, but I guess in this situation, we have not been very forthcoming or vocal about, what kind of affirmative actions we have taken. While I understand that, discussions are going on, and also the present leadership is keen to provide a safe space for the community, but we have not actually, done anything very significant as on date, is my understanding. But in terms of how it should be, how the perception should be, or what is my perception of how it should be. So as I told you, 18 plus is when students join any college, and that is the time when they have, come out of the closet, or, they are sure of their sexual orientation. So it is at this juncture that they need maximum support from the institution that they are studying in, from their colleagues, from their friends, from their teachers. So educational institutions must become, safe spaces. They must have a conducive environment. They must be supportive, where students can be comfortable about their orientation. And when we're talking about colleges, obviously, colleges lead to broader society. So if you're talking about, if you want the society, if you want the organizations to be non-discriminative, to be inclusive, then, we have to start first with schools and colleges. In fact, as I was reading up some literature, I came to know that, in US, colleges are ranked on the basis of how welcoming they are to the LGBT community. Of course, in India, there is no such parameter, but I'm sure, as you participate in international rankings, soon this will become, a very important aspect of how colleges are going to be looked upon. So, that aside, I feel that is very, very important that, as an institution, as an educational institution, we set the kind of a right tone where we tell students that, yes, we are supportive. We will try to, create a culture where, different sexual orientations are acceptable and welcoming, and also create, the necessary infrastructure for that.
I believe it is not that uncommon to see people around us face inequality. While I also feel that today, one's orientation is more acceptable than it was ever before. But one still faces a constant struggle.
Indian society especially, we've been conditioned in a way to be homophobic. If I can, say that, because many students or, many people, they make certain comments, or, they pass on certain judgments, not intentionally. They think, it's in a lighter vein, or it can pass off as a joke. So, which is not the case. So, they must be made aware of, what is right, what is wrong. And I think, an educational institution is where, they can learn all of this. First and foremost, of course, Anchor is doing a wonderful job about, raising awareness and, having discussions about the community and the issues that they face. So like we have, various organizations or clubs, or what we call as, centers. First and foremost, there must be a formal, let us say, organization or center for LGBTQ community on the in the institute, and which will promote, of course, affirmative actions, create a policy for, action against discrimination, also kind of, come up with various initiatives of, for well-being of the community, be a platform where, students can, discuss the issues that they face, also kind of provide some kind of a counseling, especially when they're going through the difficult period of, actually realizing or coming out of the closet. And, all of this must be there. And also, which must be, there must be a body which has representation from both the students and the faculty and the leadership, so that, stern action can be taken against people who behave in a very discriminative manner.
Research shows that orientation is likely the result of biological factors. Therefore, it is not always an individual's choice of whom they might be attracted to. And hence, no amount of convincing or persuasion might change a person's sexual orientation. Hence, I believe in a progressive society, in my opinion, an enormous threat would be the acceptance, the inclusiveness to the whole spectrum of relationships and orientations that might possibly exist.
Secondly, obviously, you must have workshops, webinars, discussions to educate people. In fact, as I was telling you, my understanding about the topic, or my let us say interest in the topic, was picked up or aroused just a few years ago when some of my students did a project on the topic. Till then, somehow I felt that I had no role to play in this. So many of us feel that because we belong to a cisgender, that there's nothing much we can do about the issues faced by the community. But I feel being an ally, I can do so much more. I can be in support of, and also probably help people overcome the problem. And this I came to know only 2-3 years ago. So probably educating people about their roles, that is very, very important. Also probably some kind of signs, or which will tell them that this is a safe space where discussions can be done. You can reach out. So that you have to reiterate the fact that it is a safe space, it's an inclusive organization. In fact, when you're having the orientation session for new students, this also must be established that we are welcoming of different orientations, and we have a organization in the institute to take up whatever is the issue or stand up for them. Most importantly, I think as professors or as instructors, it is important that we include in our curriculum topics related to the community or issues faced by the LGBT community. In fact, I teach human resource management, and when I was talking about say diversity in organizations or inclusive organizations from a HR perspective, I've always talked about probably gender, caste, religion, those kind. It's only in the past few years that I said inclusivity, or this includes people of different orientation also. And consciously I have started including case studies or examples of the issues faced by LGBT community and other aspects. So I think as a part of the curriculum, we must include discussions and topics so that we sensitize students about in the sense the requirements, or the situation or the issues that they're facing. So as I told you, homophobia is deep ingrained in our psyche, our culture, because of the way that we have been brought up, because the way we've been conditioned. We think passing off a light comment is in jest, but we don't realize what a deep psychological impact it might have on a person with other orientation. So we have to tell them in terms of there must be some kind of let us say whether you call it webinar, seminar, or whatever it is, which tells them what is acceptable, what is not acceptable, and all this students will have to be educated. So that is very, very important from an institutional perspective. Is that the struggle or the problems that the LGBT community faces, many of the allies or people who belong to the cisgender feel that it doesn't concern us. No, as a member of the society, it is our duty to take part or do something where all of us feel comfortable. So I think everybody has a role to play, and a role that allies and institutions especially can play, especially when you're talking about educational institutions. They have a great role in doing so, because this is where the confidence of a person will be made or broken. If educational institutions can take the right actions, build the confidence, give them the support when needed, and take stern action against discrimination, prevent isolation, I'm sure many people will find the strength to overcome the other hurdles.
It's important here to understand that this person is not pursuing and approval or acceptance. Therefore, it is important, it's absolutely important to promote inclusiveness and reduce on negative experiences like ridiculing, criticizing, or passing on snide remarks. Often, this may lead to self-isolation and a pressure to fit in or conform can lead to depression as well. Hence, we must move together towards acceptance of the spectrum of identities possible. And let's together carve out a niche, allowing people to freely intermingle, share, and collaborate between themselves.
So when I'm talking about sensitizing students, I also think that, as faculty and, as, people who, we also need to be sensitized. We also need to be made aware. I'm sure, including me, there are many colleagues who don't know the entire umbrella of, not even the terms that we're talking about, and also the kind of issues that the students face. So first of all, we need to accept that there is discrimination. And as faculty, we all must be made aware that yes, there is discrimination and we must do our bit to support the students. So once we do that, I'm sure the kind of, webinars I'm talking about, the workshops that we're talking about, or whatever is there, to educate, to sensitize, it applies to the faculty members also. And you must choose among some faculty, certain designated faculty members whom, can be allies, can be supportive. You need to have, a counselor. So there can be a group of faculty members, like, we have this ACC cell and other cell, which is there, which is run by a group of faculty members to counsel people. So, you need to have a group of faculty members who will be, supportive, who can listen to the issues, who can, lend, you can probably help students or counsel them, or, help them take certain actions, or at least, listen to their issues and see what can be done. And as I told you, many of us still feel a little hesitant about voicing our opinions or talking on the topic. So you need to normalize the fact that it is perfectly natural that people have different preferences, different orientation, and you need to, go beyond that. And probably in the sense, it's like the kind of, many of us, we don't even want to talk openly about it. So I think this kind of a hesitation, we need, faculty first, they must be educated. Secondly, from the group of faculty, identify people who can be allies and form, a group of them who will be there for the students to help them with any issues that they face. I think this is what I can think of right now. And I'm sure, the leadership will they're very forthcoming in offering support, and they will do the needful for this to be done.
Well, people struggle with coming out, not only to others, but often coming out to terms with themselves. I think it's quite natural. And it's kind of a very, very genuine issue that one may face. Here we must understand that using stereotypes to label someone's sexual orientation can be very, very upsetting, disconcerting to that person. Coming out in itself is a very brave thing to do. We must understand that. And it's kind of particularly very personal. Very, very personal. And one cannot define a right way to go about it. I feel that the person, and only that person, knows, can decide, and is in charge to choose how, when, where, with whom to be open about that person's orientation. It is very, very encouraging to observe that specific communities have taken up activities and initiatives in this aspect, which still largely remains out of the bounds or kind of taboo. I think it's really the time to minimize this gap between what is an actual reality and a truly inclusive society. Let's move together towards a society for all.
I was exposed, or I became aware that a platform like Anchor exists probably a year and a half ago, and I keep following their social media pages, and also probably listening to the interviews they have with transgender and other people of the community. They're doing a wonderful job in sensitizing people, the kind of material. In fact, I was reading small brochure which kind of educates people in a very very simple way about the different shades to the topic and the issues that they face and what is there. So I think Anchor is doing a phenomenal job in sensitizing people, in educating people, in making people feel more comfortable. In fact, there was one poem and I think a short story kind of a competition where people could come out. So it made like people who wanted to talk about it come out of the isolation and talk openly and freely about their feelings. So yes, it is doing a wonderful job. So it must be, as I told you, recognized and given a position in the institution, so that they can join hands with the faculty and the institution in doing much more than it is doing currently, and being more proactive, so that students are able to benefit from it. So an organization like this, where students feel that they can reach out to, where they can voice their opinion if they're feeling isolated or they're discriminated against. So there is someone to support them. So it is very very important. I think Anchor is doing a fabulous job in this matter.
Creating and running an awareness group is a big challenge, and it's also very important for the society. My best wishes are always with you. Thank you.
It must be an environment where I can voice my opinion and people will take it in the right sense, and they will not look upon people from the community from a different lens. And I think we have a long way to go before we reach that, but then I think every small step that we take matters a lot.